Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
Wow.
There ain't no rank on this podcast, buddy.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, and that was recorded.
Okay.
I try to do a little something with my mustache on the break because it's looking
I'm going to
haggard.
clip that.
It looks the same exact that it did the last time you said it looked real good. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's good. I mean, what do you want me to say?
It's fantastic.
It's pretty good.
It's delicious, or whatever that lady said.
She said it was spectacular.
Look at that. Now I'm
delightful.
the only one on the podcast that does not have a glorious mustache. So,
Can you grow one, Fred?
Sucks to suck.
yeah, remember I had one. Remember when our chief
He has one right now. He's been growing for a year.
Remember when our chief said that we were going to do a new composite photo of the department, and pretty much everybody on the department grew a mustache for the picture, and he walked into the day room one day and said, "I swear to God, if you idiots shave your face after the picture, I'm going to be pissed." And we all took our pictures, and we all shaved our faces. So if you look at the 2022
I'm jealous
picture,
of Nathan's
there's
soul patch.
30 people that have mustaches.
Mine doesn't come in thick enough.
Yeah, just right there. It doesn't grow on either side. It's just right in that spot.
Just grows in all white trashy like that.
Yeah, it's natural.
I love that.
More natural with it.
It's from Joe Dirt, Matt.
Joe Dierte.
Thank you.
Culture yourself, dear Tay.
We're not allowed to have that.
We just got it approved. That's why.
But you could go all the way down. You grow the handlebars out.
No, we're not allowed to have that.
We just loosened ours up. We were a half inch beyond, half inch below, unless it was waxed in place. And now you can come all the way down to your jaw, and you can have.
Matt just keeps
patch.
saying that he doesn't feel good and puts a surgical mask on, so he keeps riding below.
No, they all know that.
Mine
those don't
pokes out
work.
the side of it.
All right. Hey, Fred, why don't we, before we get in too far, why don't we introduce our nice fine guest here?
Today, for those of you who are joining us, we have Lieutenant Nathan Helten. Hopefully I pronounced that right. He is the CEO, president, inventor, all of that of Handy Hook. I'm positive that you guys have seen him on social media. He's everywhere. He has this, frankly, awesome little gadget that hooks onto the bunker pant pocket. I suppose you could put it a little higher on the belt or even on your coat bunker pocket, whatever you want to call it. But
Now you can literally wedge it anywhere you want.
and you hook it there. You put one glove on each side, and basically the best way for me to describe it is think of the Wild West. Think of the quick draw. When you're ready to go in, pow pow, your gloves are on. You're ready to go. You're ready to do work, catch a job. So welcome to this shit show, the Cool Fireman Podcast. Lieutenant Nathan Helten, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That's my cue.
Thanks
Thanks for having me.
We pay a lot of money for
really
those cheesy
stepped our
sound
game
effects.
up here.
Yeah. And 90% of the time I forget to roll them.
Yes.
But this time I
So,
yep.
just to bring everybody up to speed, this is the Cool Fireman Podcast. We have actually he's front, middle, top, center, whatever, Adam, Unky Seasoning. He's our guy. Check out unkyseasoning.com for all the great seasonings out there. Salty Fireman is out. You got to check it out. It's incredible. And then also our other sponsor, the Burn Box, with the FD Collectors Club. If you didn't get January's box, you missed out on a leather radio strap, all included, including he also threw a T-shirt in there, some stickers. Every box, I'll be honest with you, every box is jam-packed, and we love getting those. And then you can also get the patch and coin every month. So look that up. But thank you.
I believe that T-shirt was West Broad, right?
It was.
That's a sweet design on the back. I liked it.
So as we always do here on the podcast, we are going to do a quick moment of silence for anybody that we may have lost in the last week or so, first responder or otherwise. So if you could indulge us and just take a quick moment for a moment of silence. Thank you, Matt.
Well said.
Matt, what do you say?
Yeah.
He already said it.
I said well said.
My headphones are off.
That's okay. I forgive you.
There's no snare.
So now that we've got all that out of the way,
I
we're
might have
going to
some
dive in to what is Handy Hook and what is Lieutenant Nathan Helten. So tell us, kind sir, let's start off with just a little bit about yourself, the fire service. How'd you get in? Why are you a firefighter?
And let me interject this. You can speak as much about your department if you want. You can leave that out. You just whatever you feel like disclosing. I know a lot of departments are pretty picky about stuff like that. So no pressure here.
Well, I never asked anybody on my department whether or not they cared, so I guess I don't know.
That's fair.
If they get mad at me, I guess they get mad at me. Ask for forgiveness later, right?
Yeah.
So no, it was right around 2008. So I was confronted by a guy at my church about being a volunteer, joining the volunteer fire department out in Eureka, Kansas. All they have is volunteer service out there. They have, there's about 9 stations that are kind of scattered around the county. It's a fairly large rural area. A lot of grass, a lot of cattle, a lot of hills and trees and creeks and stuff like that. It's pretty wide open country. And so I was confronted by him originally and went to my first meeting, tried on some gear, went and did a little bit of training. And my first fire I was in.
Baptism by fire.
The first fire I went into, it took me forever to get my gear on. I looked like an idiot. And I finally get in there, and I could not believe that you could sit there in a house that's on fire and just breathe normal. That was the first thing that hit me. I was like, I can't believe that I'm just standing here breathing normal, just staring at this fire. It was amazing. So, and yeah, from then on. So we have a little Eureka City volunteer fire department that I was a part of. We do a lot of the structure fires and rescue stuff. And then there's a lot of the rural area departments that just cover grass fires. We'll have 10, 20, 30, 100, 200 acre grass fires, pretty regular out there in the winter months through spring season. But like I said, it's a lot of cattle, big cattle country, so there's a lot of big grass. But so that's where I fell in love with it. Started out there as a volunteer, did that for about 3 years, and decided that I needed to find a way to make a living at this so I could spend more time on it. The one thing that bothered me the most was, you're working a full-time job and you're brand new in the fire service. And I didn't have any family in the fire service. So I didn't know anything about it really growing up. So every chance I had to be able to latch on to somebody that had been on the volunteer service for any amount of time that knew anything more than me, I soaked up as much as I could. So starting from scratch, it was pretty rough, but I knew I wanted to find out more. So I went to a community college and got some certifications and my fire science stuff, and got hired on with Sedgwick County Fire. And so then after I got hired on with Sedgwick County, I had already had a lot of my rescue stuff, my dive, my ropes, some collapse stuff. So I got put in right on their.
So you're a techie. You're a techie guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I love that stuff. I love any situation where you walk up to the scene and you've got 10 dudes standing around and they say, I don't know what the hell to do.
That's your jam.
The problem solving aspect.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I love a good challenge. And in the rescue world, the challenge is all the time. So
hell yeah. Dude, I just not that long ago was telling people that's the best part of our job is it's like we have to figure out problems. Like we're problem solvers. We put out fires, whether they're literal or not. And if I don't know the answer, I call somebody that does know the answer, and that's you. So I'm happy that you're here.
I found like some of those techie guys might also not know the answer, but they are really good bullshitters. Like, oh yeah, I've seen this a million times. And they look over at the other tech guy and go, "What the hell are we gonna do with this?"
Right.
Yeah, that is true. 100%.
So when did you make rank?
A year and a half. Yeah, it was July of July
Okay.
a year and a half ago. So yeah, I loved being a firefighter though. I was a firefighter for about 9 years, and I honestly I loved driving. That was my favorite spot. We have a 107-foot ascender, Pierce ascender, and I love that truck. I love driving it. I love setting it. Oh man, that was my favorite spot.
As you can see, Doug is a truckie.
Yeah, but no, the made lieutenant, like I said, a year and a half ago, and we got a 5-man station, and so now I'm in charge of a little squad, which is just it's an F550 with the toolbox. You know, you got all your rescue tools, and 250 gallons of water, or 300 gallons of water, and then for grass fires and stuff, and then we have a tender that holds 2,000 gallons of water, so 20. But yeah, and those are the 2 trucks that I'm in charge of, and so I'm off my quint. But
So do you guys have a hydrant system?
Is there like a little like calf?
So we do, and we don't. Yeah, there's a lot of rural area around Wichita. We cover all the small towns around the city of Wichita, Kansas, right? So there's a lot of small towns that circumference it that we take care of, and then we cover all the rural areas outside of that. So there's a lot of area that's not hydranted. So we have tenders at every station that we bring out to all of our structure fires outside the city limits. And a lot of times the hydrant system might not be as good as it needs to be. So we'll bring the
Tenders anyway,
along
yeah.
with us to. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Cool.
Yeah. So
what's the population out there? You say you work for a county department. What's your population out there? Is it a pretty big county?
Yeah. So let's see. The county itself is, I think it's right around 250,000. That's not including the city of Wichita. The city of Wichita triples that number.
Yeah.
But like I said, we cover the outside of that. But then also with the rescue aspect of things, the city has 2 rescue units that we ride with as well. So anytime there's a serious rescue event, all 3 of us are going, all 3 stations. So we get to go pretty much anywhere in the county, which I love again. So
yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys run medical aids or just fires and rescues and techs?
Yep. We run medicals as well.
Everybody does
in our area.
Well, that's why I had to ask. That'd be pretty sweet.
Matt was thinking about moving to Kansas.
No, and that's typically the lieutenant's role. Is we take a lot of the medicals. So
Now, do you guys have like a
So
private ambulance that you respond with, or do you guys run your own ambulances?
So Sedgwick County, they have an ambulance service that's separate from us. So we run alongside them, but we don't do any transport, and they're not housed at the same. There's a couple of stations that we have some ambulances housed at, but otherwise they're housed
They're
at
not
different
cross-trained
spots, so
fire. They're just basics and medics and stuff.
they're strictly EMS. Yeah.
You mentioned that you are a country boy at heart, and you wouldn't change it if anybody forced you. We also have Big City Doug here, who is a country boy himself. He lives in the country, but he works in the big city, but lives in the country. So maybe expound a little bit on that. You guys can geek out about what being away from people does for you.
Freddie, do you just want them to define what a crick is? Because I heard him say it earlier.
I know what a crick
Freddie's
is.
Detroit. Yeah, yeah.
That's where the Nitty Gritty band went fishing.
I heard that too.
In the dark.
I was like, crick.
A lot of the stuff I say, I don't even realize that you city boys don't not understand. I don't know.
They went to the river, not the creek.
We got enough people on here. We
Is
can
there a difference
decode
between
everything.
the crick and the creek?
There's creek and there's cricks.
There's difference?
Different things.
Oh yeah, I got a
Oh
crick.
shit! I thought it was the creek, but
No,
you
it's
just
a
said
smaller
crick.
little moving water.
It depends on where you're from.
He had to Google it.
So have you ever lived
Whatever.
subdivision area, or have you been mostly country?
The word is
I
rural.
hate that word.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's rural.
Come on,
The
Fro.
biggest city or town that I lived in, there's like 2,000 people.
Okay.
In that town. I lived in a town for a little while before I moved out to the country.
So yeah, you like gardening? It says growing flowers and vegetables and stuff like. So do you try and self-sustain some of it, or is it like hobby growing? Okay.
Both. So we've been kind of expanding on our garden so that way we could fill the pantry and whatnot to keep us through the winter. I don't have like years and years of bulk saved up, nothing like that. But we try to do it to where we have enough stuff to where we can last through the winter before the next season starts. So I do enjoy that. That's a lot of fun. And hey, I want to elaborate a little bit more about the country boy aspect of it. So there's a very specific place. I just built a house about 4 years ago, and there's a very specific geographical location to place it. You have to be able to stand on your front porch, take a leak, and not worry about any neighbors seeing you.
Yeah,
And that's it.
That's
That's
perfect.
perfect. That right there. If I'm in that place for the rest of my life, I'm happy.
I like that.
I PS out all the time.
Yeah. Not my
I
front
hope to have
porch,
that
but
at some point in my life.
where I'm at, nobody uses their front porch.
Why is that?
Everybody uses either the side door or the back door.
To piss out of?
Just to come and go.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
piss off the back porch.
We were talking about pissing off the front porch. I was
Yeah,
making
I
sure.
said around here nobody uses their front porch.
All right. Can we get
Yeah,
into the handy hook?
let's
I
dive
wanna
into
hear all
that. I was
topics.
trying to set it
Yeah.
up. I'm not trying to just
killing me.
jump into it all of a sudden.
You're killing me.
He wants to know about the
Sitting here
handy hook. He's going to buy some.
anxious. Hell yeah, I am. I just
So
wanna
what
hear
got
about
you? What got you thinking about handy hook?
So I love trying to fix things, right? I love trying to fix things and make things a little bit better in life. One of the things that I noticed from the very get-go with pretty much every firefighter was when you do your little gear up drill and you go to don your gloves, either you have a number of issues. I'm sure you guys are all aware of this. So, you've got the liner issue where the liner's bunched up and then your finger, you don't get your pinky finger in the glove and you're walking around with 4 fingers in your glove. And you got the issue where your gloves were wet, last shift and you didn't dry them out properly and they're wadded up and they're bunched up. And so it's a pain in the ass to get your hands in. You have a lot of issues that come from that. Even if you're prepared all the time, you either have your gloves in a glove strap, which takes you a little bit of time to undo, or you wad them in a pocket. I haven't seen many more ways than that, or people will use like alligator clips to hold them, and that's fairly efficient as long as they don't fall off.
Which is a problem.
Or they dangle and they hit things, or they get stuck in the SCBA, or
I don't trust the alligator clips. Always open up. I don't trust them.
Yeah. So I figured there had to be a better way, and that's when I started. So my first, it was actually pretty funny. I made a janky piece of like 1/2-inch flat steel that I bolted to the side of my pants. That just it was long and narrow, and it extended into my glove, and then just like poked my glove off at the finger. And I bolted that to the side of my blue jeans and did that, and it worked. And I was like, oh shit, that actually worked really easy. So then I kept molding on that and changing it and changing it and changing it. I eventually got into a friend of mine that's really savvy with 3D printing. And we 3D printed, I don't know, I never kept count, but it was probably 200 to 300, somewhere in that range, different models of handy hook designs before I came up with something that was reliable, efficient, and also like moldable. It had to be, and I didn't know anything about injection molds, but it has to be in a specific shape to be able to be moldable.
So what were some of the prototype
So
problems that you ran into? Did they break or did they not hold it or?
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, I mean, it started from the very get-go. My biggest thing after I kind of figured out that if you stuck something down in your glove, so I have two different handy hook versions, right? I have one that comes into your glove and it actually pull your glove off, and then you could also don your glove. And then I have a smaller one that it won't pull your glove off. It just holds it in place, and then you can slide your hand in. So I found out that I had those two different options, right? So I knew I could get my glove on with them when I was doing the 3D printing, but then finding a way to mount it securely to your bunker gear without adapting your gear, because I didn't want every firefighter to be poking holes in their gear, because that's not going to work. And then having some type of system, having some type of adaptation that the gear manufacturer would have to do, that wasn't an option. So it probably took me 2 years to come up with a reliable way to be able to mount it to your gear securely without it coming off. But you have to understand, like when we did this 3D printing, I would change the design by like thousandths of an inch, and it would be worse. And then you change it thousandths of an inch the other way, and then it would be better. I just, like every little aspect, I would have him 3D print something. I'd go there, pick it up, use it once, and then throw it in the box because I knew it was, and then tell him, go 2 thousandths the other way. I mean, it took me 4 years before I finally came up with the reliable product. So it was a long time coming. And then the last year of having like prototype stage, my department was nice enough to let me kind of hand it out to about a dozen firefighters that were willing to trial it for me. So for a year, we trialed these little 3D printed prototypes, and they worked for a year. So I thought, okay, let's try it out.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Now, are you finding everybody in your department, are they still using it? Like, because like firefighters be like, oh, heck yeah, man, hell yeah, LT, I'll help you out, and they use it for like a week, and then it gets thrown in their locker or whatever. Like, are you getting a lot of
creatures of habit, and we're particular? I get it.
Yeah. I never expected for. A wise businessman once told me. He said, coming up with a product like this, you have to plan on maybe 10% of the population that you're trying to sell to getting your product. And at 10%, you're doing good. If you're less than 10%, maybe you need to rethink what you're doing. But so I kind of gauged it off of that. So out of 10 guys, I figured if one guy would try it and use it, I was doing okay. And that's kind of how my department was. I had about probably 20% of the department that would use it. And then you had 80% of the guys that were stuck in their ways, and they had no interest in finding a different way or even trying a different way. And I get that, 100% get that, because I'm that way with certain things. I'm pretty particular about some things that I do, and I'm not going to change even if it is better. So
even if it's better, I like that.
Yeah, that's who we are.
Yeah. So, but I do still have guys. I had a guy 3 days ago that told me that he still has the prototype. He's still using the prototype I gave him, which is probably three years ago now. Just a 3D printed janky prototype that still works.
Well, it speaks to the quality of it, and the design, that it's not, you know what I'm saying, that it's not just going to snap off when you try and put your glove on. Now, are you using the high temp, like carbon fiber on the hook to prevent any like melting?
So it's not carbon fiber. I did look into adding fiber to it for strength, but I haven't needed to because I made it thick enough that I didn't necessarily need to, but that is still an option in the injection mold process. But what I'm using now is just a high temp nylon blend resin. There's a lot of different a lot of different variations that you get into when you're talking about resins. I don't know if any of you guys are savvy with resin, but I wasn't. And then I had to be. So I learned a lot about resin. And anytime you deal with high temp resin, you're dealing with something rigid, something that's a specific shape that's not going to change. You know, like, I don't know if you guys use Scott air packs, but like the buckles on our air packs are plastic. They are hard ass high temp plastic. They don't bend, they don't flex, they don't do any of that. So anytime you want a flexible plastic in high temp situation, it's either very expensive, one, or it's just not going to work. So my product has to flex a little bit. So I found this nylon blend that worked to where I had a little bit of flexibility, but still rigid enough and good enough in the high temperatures. So the blend I'm using now, it won't start to fail until it's in 400 degrees for several minutes. So even after like direct flame impingement, which you're not going to have for a very long period of time as a firefighter, direct flame impingement, it's a little over a minute before it does start to fail. Yeah. So,
and if you do, you have a different problem.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell people. It's not. It's going to outlast your face piece, right? So if your face mask fails, you're already out, and the handy hooks are going to be fine.
Yeah, well, at that point, it's just on your gear. You're already wearing your gloves like you're supposed to. And you just get a new pair.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So when did you see this? How long has it been since you started doing this? Is it like the 2020s, like during COVID or something?
So it was it was May of 2023.
Okay.
Well, hold on. That's when I started selling them.
Okay, got it.
And then about 4 years prior to that is when I started. It was 2019 is when I started the coming up with
the ideas and the prototypes. Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
I'd been thinking about it for probably 5 years before that. It's just been in the back of my mind, just thinking there's got to be a better way.
Cool.
And I just never came up with something I thought would actually work until that day I told you when I used that janky piece of steel that I bolted to my pants.
Yeah. And now you have are you like mass production on it? Like, how do you design them and make them all yourself? Or how does that work?
So I have, after we did that prototyping process, my guys used them for a year. I took that template, that design, and I hired a guy to build me an injection mold. So now I've got my own injection mold that I take to a resin company, and they do all my injection molding. So luckily there's a small kind of mom and pop shop here in Wichita, Kansas. So they have my mold at their shop. So all I got to do now, I call them up. I tell them, I need so many of these. Get them whenever you can, and they run them in the resin that we've already settled on, and it's actually pretty nice.
Cool.
So I don't do the manufacturing part myself per se. Yep. I go and pick up the raw product from them, and I put some stickers on it, kind of put them together, package them up here at the house, and then like my back plate system, it's made out of stainless steel. And that's the same way. I've got a shop here in Wichita that I hired. They do my stainless steel cutting, and I bring all the parts home, put everything together, and
convenient.
Where are you selling the majority of these things? Like, you do it online. You get a lot of. I don't know if you're on Instagram. I'm sure you're.
He actually. It's funny. He said he's never been on social media. He had to create social media once he got this and learn it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I never was a fan of. It's not that I wasn't a fan of social media. I had no interest.
Yeah.
I had other things to do, and so when I created Handy Hook, I realized that social media was the best platform, easiest, I guess, or cheapest.
Yeah,
for sure.
To reach the populace.
Yeah, to reach the most people. You're right. So I get all my exposure, the majority of my exposure through social media, and then I go to conventions. Most of them are around the Kansas area, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma. That's about as far as I've gone, except for we went to FDIC last year, and that was amazing. That's the first time I'd ever been, and I loved it. That place. It's just amazing. The stuff you see and the people you meet. It's insane how much stuff
We keep
they have.
saying we need to go, and I think we're going to pull the trigger, but we've never
Have
been.
you never been?
No.
We
think
want
you
to
need to
do
go.
an episode
We talked about Tom.
at FDIC. Like that's our goal is to
Dude, that would
be there and just
so
like,
rad.
hey, there's
Yeah,
a
we could
dude.
do
Like
live.
pull him in and be like, tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
take. We'll,
And we
we'll,
totally
we'll set up
could
at the
because-
Unkies booth
Or Tom.
or Tom's bug.
Yeah,
the
Burn Box
Box.
keeps telling us
Tom's
that he's gonna
going?
take us.
I know. Nick's going to be there this year. I wanted to go. We're going to be at SAFER, the South Atlantic Fire Rescue Expo in Raleigh. We'll
In
be
where?
there in August.
Where's it at?
Raleigh.
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 Oh, fuck.
So are these do you have any options for customization on them, like names or anything like that yet, or
No, I never have. I never have looked into doing something like that yet.
I can't imagine there's much
there's
space
probably
to do that
not
much
like
stuff.
and realistically having like Freddie or your the fire department you work for, like the LFD or whatever you work for, it probably isn't necessary on a utility like this.
Well, it's something that attaches to your gear. It doesn't come off every day. Like my Williams key, it goes on. I put it in the. I take it out of my bag and put it on the unit, so it's loose. But then I put it back in my unit in my stuff. Like this is permanently attached. So
Yeah, when you have your gloves on the handy hook,
Oh, yeah, you can't
really
even
don't
see it.
even see the handy hook at all. The only thing you see is on the top where I put an American flag, which I'm very proud of.
America.
Do you guys do
wow,
different
just for that
colors, or are
reason.
they all black?
I just went with all black. I found out, and I think maybe someday in the future I might look into different colors. What I found out in my resin research was when you start going off of different colors, then it really messes with the
Oh,
temperature.
okay.
I would think that the chemicals involved. Yeah.
Yeah, if I had a white one, it would not last as long.
Oh, Doug is a chemist now. Apparently.
No, I was just thinking. I mean, it's when you start mixing that chemical compound with the resin, then you're talking about how it fuses together. And I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm a country boy, but I ain't an idiot.
Nobody called you an idiot. I
Yo,
just called
you kind of just did, but whatever.
No, I called you a chemist.
Chemist?
Whatever.
Yeah, he's the chemist now. He's the podcast chemistry teacher. Anytime we have
Miss
some
Hash.
chemistry-
Miss Hash was my chemistry teacher.
Oh,
Shout out, Miss Hash.
Well,
I'm sure she's a listener.
LT, we like to do something where we kind of do like a turnout drill, which you confessed at the beginning of this. Your first turnout wasn't so great.
Damn it, Freddie.
So I'm sure this one's going to be better. So what we'll do is we're going to do between 3 and 5 questions based on how we're at. Just give me a number 1 through 25. Just to start,
number?
yeah. 24?
24.
All right. If you could play one song every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
That's a good one. I got mine. I know it. I will. No.
Oh man,
That's what
you kind of took me for a loop because I started thinking about 3 different songs. So now I'm confused.
Ooh, rapid
on which one
fire.
I want.
You could have a medley.
Doug's would be
It's the Hulk Hogan theme song.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Well, I'm assuming you guys saw the
Oh,
Chiefs
yeah.
game, right? Huh?
I wasn't talking about the
Unkies-
Chiefs. I was
Unkies
talking
the
about
Chiefs
the
fan.
Braves.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Matt's theme song, Red Kingdom by Tech Nine.
I'm a Braves fan, sir.
So did we come up with a song?
No, pick one.
Oh no! Hold on. Let me think for a second.
You want a 3-song rotation? We can hit shuffle
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Well, I guess I just got to do "I'm a Country Boy" by Hank Williams
Heck yeah.
Jr. How about that?
Heck yeah. All right, give me another number.
Perfect.
11.
go 11.
What's your favorite holiday?
That's a good number.
Probably
Okay.
4th of July.
Yeah.
All right.
I see a theme.
Because you
here.
like to
Yeah.
make things explode, I'm assuming, out in the country, fire off them M80s.
He's a proud American.
There's been a little bit of that going on. Yeah. Yeah, but honestly, it's some of the most fun on the job
Yeah.
too.
Right.
You work 4th of July, you typically get to have a lot of fun.
With missing digits, maybe, and all kinds of fun, if you will. All right, another one.
Let's go 4.
All right, are you an early bird or a night owl?
We'll back up.
So I've got 3 boys, 5 and under.
Oh,
I think I'm both, really. we stay up late with some of them, and they never sleep in. So I do. I like getting up early, but I usually end up staying out late. I don't know what you guys consider late, but I go to bed at like 11 o'clock or so typically, and I'm up by around 6-ish.
You're like on the elf sleep schedule. I got a solid 45 minutes. All right, let's do one more.
How about
12.
let's go 12?
Oh, this is a good one. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
oh, so easy, super easy.
The ability to put firefighting gloves on very fast.
He has that now.
Oh, he does.
He
He's
invented
already a
that.
superhero. Right.
Oh man.
Come here.
You know, I don't even think this is a superpower, but I was envious of a fella I met just the other day because he was deaf and he could just. I asked him. I said, "What's it like being deaf?" He said, "I got to take these things off and I don't hear anything." I said, "Oh my God, that'd be like heaven."
So the ability to turn your hearing off.
I love it completely quiet, man. I don't know. That's for a superpower. Yeah, going deaf that's probably not the best thing.
We are an equal opportunity show here.
Well, you just said that you talked to the deaf guy, and I'm already kind of weird. I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't. Yeah,
He
that
didn't
doesn't
say he
add up.
talks to dead guys.
Somebody's running their mouth. All you got to do is close your eyes.
Unky Roscoe just came in.
Roscoe.
Well, boy. Nate, this was awesome.
Oh my
you gotta
gosh.
Tell everybody that's listening or watching Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever. Tell them how they can get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you, how to follow you, and where to order the handy hook so that they can up their turnout game when they're racing the Proby, let's say.
Yeah. So I'm on Facebook on Handy Hook, Instagram's at my Handy Hook, and TikTok's Handy Hook, and YouTube as well. I forgot about YouTube. So if you go to myhandyhook.com, that's my website. I try to have as much informative stuff on there for people who've checking out the site for the first time. On my how-to page, it goes over all the aspects of how to mount it, how to use it, kind of the best placement, and the ins and outs on what you can and cannot do, and what to expect.
You can get yourself a cowboy visor. Tell me a little bit about the cowboy visor.
Did you like that? So a friend of mine, a fellow firefighter, he came up with that, and he just started selling it kind of as a fun gig for himself. And he asked about putting it on the website, and I was like, sure, let's try it out. I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
And now it's your bestseller.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, your recent TikToks, and I'm sure you put the reels on Instagram of you in action with them. It just shows how simple the process is and how well it works. And especially if we talked about this prior to, finding good gloves that work well for you is a challenge at some point. My department only issues a certain couple of models, so it gets kind of tough. But your videos it really describes how the product works and shows how really simple it is.
Thank you. And then that's one of the things that I try to the biggest thing that I started when I started making videos and stuff is it's all educational. And just like you said, just showing people, visually seeing how easy it actually does work. Now, I will say that those are the gloves I'm using in the video. Those are my frontline structural gloves. I love them. I absolutely love them. I love the way they fit. I love the way they feel. I love the dexterity. My department uses Dex Pro gloves. That's what they issue. And those are good too. I really do like those gloves. But these are just better. And it is just like you said, every firefighter kind of has their own little touch as far as what works best for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see you got a package on there with that Rascal Wedge. We just got that Rascal Wedge in a burn box a couple months ago. Man, that thing's awesome. Did you hook up with them or how'd you guys get that?
Yeah. So a fella named Greg, I guess I won't use his last name, I guess, but he found me at FDIC last year. So he was walking around kind of showing off the Rascal Wedge, and we got to talking, and I liked his story is really similar to mine as far as kind of how he started in the service and then what he wanted to do, and so I loved it. We kind of started a good relationship, and then so yeah, we made a partnership deal where I'm selling some of his handy hook or selling his stuff on my handy hook page.
Yeah, Alex, I used mine last shift day, which was Saturday. I keep in my front coat pocket. I use it all the time.
Right.
Yep, that's actually where I keep mine too. I keep it in
mine's in my
front
helmet
coat pocket.
Well, this is awesome, Nathan. I have Lieutenant Nathan. Sorry.
Yeah, casual environment, Freddie.
Makes me nervous. I appreciate you coming on. This is awesome. We love getting out there and meeting new guys across the country. You're in a spot that we kind of haven't really talked to anybody. Kansas. That's new for us. We love to promote small businesses. We want to get the word out there and make sure everybody knows about Handy Hook. If you haven't heard of it, get out there and check them out at the very least. Get yourself a set of Handy Hooks, try them out, and be part of the 10%.
Just watch
be
the
part
videos.
of the 10% that uses it.
Just watch the videos. That speaks for itself.
Sure. Anything else you got, LT?
No, I've enjoyed the little conversation. I do appreciate you guys reaching out to me. This is it's been fun
for sure. And I'll throw myself absolutely under the bus. I reached out last year in June and was like, "Hey man, you want to get on the show?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, let's do it."
Yeah, I told him before you came back. I was like, "Yeah, I've been trying to get you on here because when I first started product last year sometime, I was like, dude, we should talk to that guy. That's the kind of stuff that we want to promote in our small business episodes. We obviously talk about a bunch of actual firefighting shit, but like the small business guys in the fire service, like I want to do all I can to promote them."
Yeah, so I reached back out. I dropped the ball on this, so I'm glad we were able to get you on here because this was what we needed. We like getting the small businesses out there. So appreciate you coming on, man.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
And then
cool.
Who's
we should have.
All right. Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on all our social medias. The Cool Fireman podcast. We still have a lot of people that are listening on YouTube and on Spotify that aren't subscribed. So if you're a listener or this is the first time you've listened, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way we pop up every single week. Our new podcasts always drop on Fridays. We can guarantee you that. And then we have a lot of fun stuff that we do behind the scenes stuff and also clips of our upcoming podcasts. So we will have you will have seen Nathan already on Instagram because we will have some shorts and some reels and stuff like that posted.
For sure. And we're gonna let the LT close it out. I just texted him what he's supposed to say. So if everything's good,
all right, perfect.
Take your white ass back across 8 miles.
Not what we say. Go ahead, LT.
Roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out thecoolfireman.com for more. Thanks!